Welcome back to the Stockwell Eldridge Show. I'm Jason Stockwell with RE/MAX Results.
Don Eldridge, RE/MAX Results.
And we got talking, first segment talked about the market update, talked about the stuff we're going to be sharing with you today, which is in-depth conversation on self-directed IRAs and 1031 exchanges. And we introduced Thomas Drusilla with Finance of America. And so we'll start right off in it. Self-directed IRAs. You have 401ks, you have SEPs, you have all these investment plans, and you may have a great idea like, hey, what if I wanted to invest in this? And it's something, maybe it's used cars, maybe it's real estate, maybe it's anything for that matter. It could be anything outside of the normal investment strategy, which is put your money in mutual funds. This is for you. So what is a self-directed IRA? Dawn?
Well, technically speaking, a self-directed IRA is not any different than any other IRA or 401k. However, what makes a self-directed IRA unique is the available investment options. A self-directed IRA is an individual retirement account that gives you complete control over your investment choices. That's pretty sweet. Unlike other IRAs, you're not limited to stocks, bonds, or mutual funds. This means you can take advantage of investing in alternative assets, such as real estate.
Yes, bingo.
Limited partnerships and gold.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
With your self-directed retirement account. In addition to the tremendous IRA benefits, tax-free profits, tax deductions, asset protection, and estate planning, you are able to invest tax-free. Tax-free. In investments that you know and understand and that you really like, which through the power of compounding interest will create lasting wealth for you and your family.
That's awesome. So, Robin, you are doing a project right now using a self-directed IRA. You went
Yes.
through a class.
Yes.
I'm sure you learned a ton,
I
probably.
did. I used a 401k that I had with a previous employer. Now that is one thing that, I learned in this class, and I thought it was very important that I go learn about this
Yes.
before I did this. So I went to a class, and it was very educational. It was I was really glad that I did this. I used a 401k that I had with a previous employer. Now, that is very important. If you're with an employer right now and you have a 401k, it's not, more than likely, it's not something that you can do with a 401k that you currently have with a current employer. It would have to be a 401k that with a previous employer.
Got it.
So it can't be with a current employer. It would have to be something with somebody that you're not currently
You have
with.
money in a 401k. So, I don't want to do a disclaimer here. We're
Right.
real estate agents. So
Right.
Robin Hartlow's a real estate agent. She does design. She
Right.
helps with estate sales. I'm an agent. Dawn's an agent. So none of us are giving you advice or financial
Right.
advice on what to do. We're just
Right.
explaining our personal experience going through
Yes.
this. The
So-
only person that may be able to speak to it with more in depth is Jeff on the 1031 and maybe on this stuff too, because he might be more qualified.
Yeah.
But
So this is something that I had when I was with Home Time.
Yes.
And I had a 401k with them, and I'm obviously no longer with Home Time, but I had this 401k sitting around, and it was in the stock market. And I saw it draining away, losing money every year, and not making anything. Well, of course, I'm in real estate, and I know how to invest in real estate. And I thought, well, why not take those dollars and invest in something that I know and not see those dollars draining away in something that I don't know anything about?
Yep.
So then that's when I went to this class and learned how to use those dollars and invest in something that I'm familiar with. So I bought my first investment property, and it was a condominium. And I got a really good deal on a condominium, bought the condominium, and I am renovating the condominium, or hired a contractor to
Yep.
renovate the condominium. And before I even started renovating the condominium, I closed on the condominium. And then 2 days after I closed on the condominium, I already had a buyer
wow.
for the condominium. Hadn't even started renovating it yet. I have a closing date of May 16th. And so I had
You have to get all the work done prior to that.
prior to
Nice.
that, yes. But I have a contractor working on it and
Nice.
everything. But it has been extremely, extremely successful for me.
And that is something that you have to ask or go to class or talk to experts on it, because if you call your broker or your 401k manager, if you have an old 401k from a company, you're not just going to be able to just say, oh yeah, pull the money out, put it into real estate.
Right.
You have to take it out of that fund or that whoever's holding that and then put it into another holding company.
You have to put it, well, I moved it out and I talked to a company that does this, and I created a trust, and they know how to do this and create a trust.
Yep.
And so I had it all set up a trust, and then they moved it out and I opened up a checking account, basically a checking account in the name of that trust.
Yes.
And then all of the money went into that account in the name of that trust. Now, everything that goes into that, all the money that goes into the investment of that condominium, to pay the contractor, to pay the materials and
Taxes,
everything.
holding costs.
Everything.
Yep.
Were you
goes-
able to use it towards down payment too?
Yeah, everything that goes into that condominium has to go out of that trust.
No, so you have to purchase it with the funds.
Yeah, you have
Okay.
to purchase it with
it's
the
very
funds.
tricky if you finance them.
Right.
is what I
Oh,
heard.
okay,
You
so,
want to
like,
have
no
enough in there to
financing.
buy the property.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And I paid cash out of that account, and everything, the paying the energy bill, paying the utilities for the condominium while I own it, and everything has to come out of that trust account.
Yep.
And then when I sell it, that all goes back into that account.
Yep.
Wow.
And that's very important. So we're not trying to overcomplicate this, because it sounds complicated, but it takes, like I talked on the last show and said on the last show, it takes work. It takes some work, but the payoff or the reward can be far greater. So my story is similar to Robin. I got out of the stock market completely in '08 after a crash. Probably should have stayed in and just let it ride, but I just was so tired of it. And then I started a self-directed IRA and have been investing in real estate that way. Same thing, buying properties and then renovating them and selling them. We're in that industry. Why wouldn't we be doing that? It'd be if I was a stockbroker and I sold life insurance and I don't have my own policy. Really? You're in the industry. You have to know it, and you should be in it, So that's what I did, and I've now diversified it into a few other things, because you can go into gold, as we said. You can actually lend the money out. I know a lot of people
Yes.
that have a large self-directed IRA, and they will do loans out of that. Now, that money that they make comes back in, and it goes back into you can never commingle with that
No.
personal funds, because that's your retirement account. So it's very, very strict on that. But that money goes back in there, and it goes back in as gain. But depending upon the vehicle you have it in, if it's a Roth IRA setup or a 401k or however it is, it's treated that same way through the process until you retire. So you have unlimited capability of gains. That's the benefit of it. You're not beholden or sitting there on the sidelines hoping that the stock market keeps going up and doesn't crash
Right.
5 years before you're going to retire
And you're
or
not
something like that.
you're not making you're not taxed on that gain. As long as it goes back into that account,
Yep.
you're not taxed on that until you take it out in
Yes.
retirement.
If you put it in, yes. If it's in a vehicle that has tax when you take it out, it gets taxed. Then you're taxed when it comes out. Yeah.
Right, right. And
Very-
I've made more money on this real estate investment in the 2 months than I made in that stock market in 10 years.
Wow.
Sitting in the stock market in 10 years, I made way more money in 2 months.
Yeah. So if you are motivated, and if you're a little riskier, in other words, or it doesn't have to be riskier, I should say, but if you're willing to take and do some work, if you know an industry or you know a segment and you know it's going up in value and you can invest in it, but you want to do it through your investment vehicle and you don't need the actual money for living, so you don't want to make sure you understand that this money isn't money you can use. So it truly is your retirement money. So don't think, oh, well, I'm going to do it through this, but if I need the money, I'm just going to use that money. No. You're penalized the same way you would be if you take out from your 401k. Massive penalty. It should be a last resort, basically pre-bankruptcy, in my opinion, before you touch these things, to withdraw for non-investment purposes. So it's something that you really have to have your ducks in a row. I go through Dave Ramsey a lot, and you get all your ducks in a row on your personal side, and then you can go into investing. You don't want to dabble in both and have them working together, and taking from the one into the other one. So.
Now, if you do this, if you do invest in real estate, one of the things that, I've learned through this process is you have to keep very good records
Yes.
of all of the money that goes in and out of this account. You have to keep very, very good records. Now, and you can't do any of the work. So you have to hire licensed contractors, you have to pull permits and all of this stuff. So you can't do the work.
The goal is to treat it like it would be any other investment.
Right.
So you're not mixing your personal funds in with it. No. But so my experience is I've done about a remodel a year, and I buy the remodel or the house. It's either a bank owned or however the house is, and it has to be structured properly in the purchase agreement. And how you buy it, even all that stuff is very, very so you need to go through a class like Robyn did, or call us. We'll direct you to the right people. There's a few companies that I know. Equity Trust is great. I work with them. I don't know if you have a different company.
Broad Financial I've worked with.
Yes, so there's a few intermediaries that are great. Or not intermediaries, but whatever they're called. What are they called?
Custodians.
Custodians. Thank you, Jeff. That's why we have someone who's an expert in here. But we will be happy to help with any questions on that. But real estate, used cars, gold. If you know Walgreens is going to go in somewhere and you can buy the land.
You can buy a
you
franchise.
You can buy a franchise. Anyway, you name it. It's a very, very good deal. So self-directed IRAs. We'll be back with a little more on that and then getting into 1031 exchanges and finances as well. So I'm Jason Stockwell with RE/MAX Results.
Dawn Eldridge with RE/MAX Results.
Stay tuned.